So having a look at this week's shrine, we can see it has been actually adjusted as Wake Up is no longer on it. And I can't remember what the other perk was. Wake Up was having issues with survivors being able to purchase it from the store, so they re-rolled two of the perks, which is very sweet and amazing of Dead by Daylight. So the first perk is yet again Dying Light. The second one is Quick and Quiet, followed by Unnerving Presence and Windows of Opportunity. So right now I can tell you Dying Light is a bit of a wasted perk. It requires you to tunnel down and kill your obsession. In doing so, all survivors receive a penalty of 19, 22, and 25% productivity towards either healing, doing a generator, or salvoing a hook. This is a really bad perk. Because the person who uses your obsession will also get faster healing. Keep in mind, things like Medal of Man and DS change the obsession. I do not rate this perk. This perk requires you to find a survivor, catch him, who is your obsession, and then camp him to death. The time you do that is 120 seconds have passed. It takes 80 seconds to do a generator. 3 survivors, 80 seconds. That means they have 40 seconds to do whatever they want. 3 Jennies are going to get done. You're going to get Gen Rush. It's going to put you in a really bad situation. On top of that, it doesn't really matter about generators being really slow, because as of the recent patch, the hatch is now an option at 4 gens and 5 gens. So even if you play a perfect killer game and they don't get 1 generator done, the last guy can still get the hatch, which I think is pretty, well, what every killer thinks. Pretty bad. Alright, moving on to the next perk, guys. We can see we have Quick and Quiet. Now, Quick and Quiet is a Megan or a Megan perk, unlocked at level 30. It's not a really bad teachable, right? There are better things on the table. There is something to note about Quick and Quiet. A medium vault and a fast vault, normally you hear a sound of clicking your feet when you're jumping over a window, which gives a killer a notification, and it's very loud, or jumping in a locker. This removes that sound altogether, and it can trigger once every 30 seconds, 25 seconds, and 20 seconds, depending on whether it's tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. However, do note, when a survivor fast vaults into a locker, no matter who they are, they take a gasp of air. So they go, so a good killer with a decent headset is going to be able to hear the and know which locker you go into, providing he's within about 12 meters when you try to do it. So just be smart, be cool, calm, and collected. If the scratch marks don't line up, remember, they're there for 10 seconds. At 7 seconds, they start to really fade. 4 seconds with lightweight. And just pay attention, and you should be fine when it comes to killer. If people just keep disappearing, why not check a locker here and there? I know it does take a lot of time, but at the same time, you could really cut them off. However, I do not recommend purchasing this off the shrine. Now, the reason that is because Quick and Quiet is unlocked at level 30. Level 35 is Sprint Burst, which is a pretty bad perk. There are better options for exhaustion perks, but the golden rule or the golden perk is Adrenaline at level 40. So you're going to have to level up Megan anyways to get Adrenaline, unless you found it on the Blood Web. Adrenaline's more of a high tier kind of perk. I mean, a lot of people run it, but it requires the exit gates being powered. However, if the killer closes the hatch, if the killer opens an exit gate, these kind of things, not the exit gate part, if the killer closes the hatch, it'll give you Adrenaline. So if the killer has slugged you, you'll get up off the ground. It's a pretty damn good perk before, and now it's even a better perk now. If you're on the hook when the exit gates power and somebody saves you and they don't have borrowed time, you get full health and you get to run as well. If they do have borrowed time and you do get saved, you get full health and borrowed time. You got all the options in the world. It's a very important perk. Adrenaline, and Quick and Quiet comes with it because it's a 2-in-1 deal for Megan. Keep in mind, Megan at level 10 will be able to use, I believe it is 4 perks now at level 10. She'll be able to have all 3 of her teachable: Sprint Burst, Quick and Quiet, Adrenaline, and then maybe Lightweight, or something if you get lucky, Kindred, if you want to know where your allies are when you're on the hook. So she just has an overwhelming amount of options. She's one of the survivors I recommend when you first start playing Dead by Daylight. If you want to learn to loop the killer or run from the killer, you play Megan. If you want to learn to hide, you play Nia. But moving on to the next perk, guys, we can see we have Unnerving Presence. Now, Unnerving Presence makes the skill checks 40, 45, and 50% smaller. Okay, now this does not really matter. It is within your terror radius. There are 2 perks that makes this really powerful, right? Distressing increases your terror radius, doesn't make it overwhelmingly powerful. Overwhelming presence. Okay, but what I can say is the one perk that goes hand in hand with Unnerving Presence is Overcharge. Overcharge is going to allow the skill check to be minuscule if you're running Unnerving Presence. Now, this combo appears very commonly on one killer. Drum roll. You guessed it. It is the Doctor. The Doctor has a 32-meter terror radius. He can run Modern Abuse to make that a 40-meter terror radius while he's in chase. On top of this, he can run Calm Add-on and Calm Add-on, which both increase his terror radius by another 20 and 25%. Therefore, this man can have a phenomenal 54, 55-meter heartbeat, which can be terrifying, especially on a map like the game, which is small and stacked on itself. Therefore, if a Doctor has that alongside Distressing with Modern Abuse for 20% from 25% from Distressing, now this man has like a 55 60-meter heartbeat on a map like the game, which is double stacked on top of itself, you're going to be having a distressing, overwhelming presence, overcharged dock with ruin. It's going to be really rough. Okay? It can be okay utilized on other killers. There was a point in time where you could use it on Freddy Krueger and people wouldn't get the notification in the bottom right hand corner, and then when they went for a skill check, they wouldn't know they're under Unnerving, and you catch people off guard because if they weren't asleep. But however, you know, people want to miss skill checks against Freddy, you're better off running Lullaby, and then again, you're better off running Ruin, and then again, you're better off running Ruin with Knockout, and then leaving one on the ground, one on the hook, one in chase. Therefore, 3 people are immobilized, and the last person has to be altruistic with Distortance on the side, so you know when multiple people stack on Jennies. There are a lot of options. However, Unnerving Presence, not really a great perk. I can recommend it on the dock with overwhelming, with Overcharge, because Overcharge is a dock teachable. Modern Abuse is a dock teachable. Distressing is a perk which anyone can get. So you can run it on the dock and make an okay build. But however, the dock is one of the weaker killers. Dock struggles to catch people at pallets unless he understands 115 movement speed and punish, 110 in therapy mode, or treatment mode. When you shock somebody, it takes about 2 seconds to charge, 2.5 seconds animation lock. You shock somebody near a pallet, you'll be able to catch up if you change stance a bit, then change back and shock them again, change back, shock, then change back and M1 them through the pallet. Therefore, they don't get to pull the pallet down and run to another one. Very high skill gap as dock. I don't see many people that can breach that high skill gap. A lot of people as dock just run a massive terror radius and big shock because they don't understand how to do the catching side of things. It's very hard. I don't blame them. This is why I put the dock in one of the bottom 3 killers in Dead by Daylight alongside Legion and the Pig. Moving on to the next kill. Oh, no, the next killer. Moving on to the next perk is Windows of Opportunity. Are you tired of trying to run the killer and you don't know where you're going? Are you feeling alone because you think your teammates have thrown all the pallets? Well, rest assured, chat. You probably are alone, but in terms of pallets, I'll be here for you. Right, Windows of Opportunity allows you to see pallets within 20, I think 28, and then 32 meters. Don't quote me on that. But it allows you to see a window of opportunity or a pallet of opportunity that will be able to be utilized from you. However, the second you are in chase and you vault the window, you pull the pallet out, one of these things, all the lights turn off, because this will allow you to read the aura of pallets and windows within 32 meters around you, which is great, don't get me wrong. However, you need to try and memorize where things are. So when you begin the chase, you're like, okay, I'm going to vault this window. I know he's coming through the window behind me at 110% movement speed. It's a hack, so she's probably going to trap the window. That's going to give me about another 2.5 seconds. I know there's going to be a pallet all the way around here to the right-hand side. I'm going to leave my scratches to the pallet, but then I'm going to go all the way around the back. I'm going to go up the hill, go balance line. I'm going to drop down by the hill, and I'm going to loop all the way back around. I'm going to set the trap off, go all the way around, and then vault through the window. And she's going to be back here. She's going to not have blood loss because I blocked her line of sight. As long as you can make the plays and understand what needs to happen, how it needs to happen, and this allows you to map up the game in your mind and think ahead. This works very well alongside Alert if you're trying to understand how your teammates are looping. You don't have Alert, you can always run Empathy, which is a Claudette perk. That way you can see your teammates, what pallet they're pulling down, because you're not in chase, they're in chase. You can see how they choose to utilize the pallets if you're with a really good looper. For example, he can be your mentor and you can be watching him while working on objective as well. Anyways, guys, that is going to conclude the Shrine this week. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to pop into the live stream here at Twitch, guys, where we stream Dead by Daylight all the time.